If you want to open your own photo studio and you want to make additional money, I'm going to tell you now is not the time. And I'm going to tell you there are 6 reasons why I think you should be waiting. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some negotiating tactics on your lease that is inspired by this comment right here on my YouTube channel. So let's get started. Number 6 isn't so much about why you should be waiting. Number 6 is how you're going to negotiate so you could put more money into your pocket. As always, if you have questions, you can put it right down in the comments. Let's get to negotiating tip number 1. Overall, just remember, what is offered to you benefits them more than it benefits you. They expect you to negotiate. They expect you to counter. You should always be negotiating. It is absolutely standard. And if you do it respectfully, it's standard business. So here are 6, actually 8 common ways that you can negotiate your lease. Number 1, bathrooms and sinks. You're gonna need it. And you might even need 2 restrooms. You can negotiate for the landlord. Remember, because we're using this recession as leverage to build that out for you. You know what? I'm gonna sign a 4-year lease. Your shopping center is kind of slowly dying. I would be a presence there that would bring in more customers. More people would be likely to lease from you. But for me to have a successful business of 3, 4, 5, 6 years here, then I would really need a second bathroom. This bathroom is pretty big. Can we build another wall? Since the water lines are already right there, let's put a sink and another toilet. It's good to go. Or can you upgrade the restroom for me? Or since the water line's already there, can you build on the other side of the wall a kitchenette area, because I'm gonna need that. You can negotiate that because that's gonna save you $5, $6, $7, $8, even $10,000 that you're not spending your money building out someone else's property. You never wanna do that. Number 2, you're gonna ask for a stronger power source. Maybe the wattage isn't there. If you're getting a smaller space, like inside of a shopping center, I would negotiate additional plugs. You don't wanna run. The more extension cords you run, the higher the risk of a power blowout, the higher the risk of someone tripping. You should have power sources everywhere. They just have to pay an electrician a little bit more. They run some more cords. You could put them up high, you put them up low. Make sure that you get power sources, and that's not something that you're gonna be paying for. They need to pay for it, and that needs to come in before you sign your lease. Or as you sign your lease, that needs to be done within a certain amount of time. Number 3 is a non-compete clause. So what I mean by a non-compete clause is this, that if I'm going to sign in your building, in your complex, in your shopping center, I don't want another type of business competing against me in the same shopping center. So I don't want another photo studio. And you could put that down and you would agree to that. Number 4, reserve parking. What I would do is, obviously you're gonna have shared parking if it's a shopping center, but I would say, can I reserve the 2 spots in the front for me? It's important. We have clients that drag a lot of stuff, clothes and makeup and equipment. It'll be really good for them to have that. See if you can negotiate that. Don't let that be a deal breaker. But if you're in a warehouse, then you need 1 or 2 designated spots immediately right by it. Because if you don't have designated parking, they don't know where to park the grip truck or the camera truck, and they don't want to park that down the street with all the theft going on. You're going to lose a lot of clients. You need designated parking that belongs to you, that needs to be written into the lease. The next one is rate increases. You can and you should negotiate how much the rate increase will be after your 2, 3, 4, 5-year lease. If you sign a 5-year lease, that's perfectly normal for business. You're starting a business to stay in business. So you could say, hey, we agree that you're not going to raise the lease more than 5%. Now you know that in year 6, if you sign a 5-year lease, you're only going to be paying this much more. You're not waiting for a surprise. There was a restaurant in West Hollywood that a TV star, Lisa Vanderpump, said she's ending her lease of her very successful restaurant, Pump, because the landlord doubled it because they know that that is on a TV show. They know that a lot of people visit, and they're like, cool, let's take advantage. And she's like, I gotta go. And they're probably gonna lose like $500,000 in just that move. So landlords do this. That's why I have opinions about these commercial landlords. Number 6 is going to be overnight stays. This again is not gonna be a deal breaker, but sometimes people are very strict. Sometimes it's an office building situation. You want to make sure that you have 24-hour access to the space that you're paying for. That needs to be explicitly written in the lease. And that means because sometimes you're going to be working overnight painting. You're going to be working overnight creating your own stuff, or someone is going to be running into massive overtime, and you don't want to kick people out, and there's opportunity to make more money, and you're paying for the damn space. You don't want somebody saying, sorry, the whole place closes at. So you want to make sure that overnight stays are in the contract. Not necessarily you're going to be living there, but if you have to sleep a night or two, be quiet about it, but you want to make sure that you have the option for that. Number 7, I would do free months. And this is very, very common. There was a studio that I was going to get in the city of Vernon. That's right south of downtown LA. The city of Vernon, which is not even a real city, I guess, their city hall is notorious for being incredibly crooked. And I went in there and I said, I'm thinking about getting this studio, this other warehouse. And they said, okay, well, it takes up to 6 months to get approved. So now I would have to wait 6 months and pay somebody rent for 6 months without even having the opportunity to open my business. They're so crooked. But they said to me, this is like a side note, you know, you can hire one of us as a consultant and we can push it through and make it go even faster. What in the fraud is that? We all know what that is, okay? But there's going to be cities that are going to hold you out for one reason or another. They don't like the way you look. They don't like the name of your business. They don't want another studio here. They've had troubles in the past. Whatever it might be, you don't want to have to pay for rent. So you want to negotiate a month or 2 months and say, as we get ourselves up and running, as we paint, as we bring this up to speed, as we get permitted and licensed, I would like to not have to pay rent for these first 2 months, especially if I'm signing a 3 and 4 year lease. They will do it for you if you negotiate kindly. And the last one of signing your lease for your own photo studio would be rent deductions for services. Now, this is something I did in my studio. If let's say there was a situation with the plumbing in the studio, and I have a customer coming later the next day, and I have to wait for the landlord to call their preferred plumber, and for their preferred plumber to make it across town and to fix our pipes in the sink, or fix our electrical, or there's a leak on the roof, that could put me out of business for a full week sometimes. So what I had was a clause in there saying, if I don't get a response within 24 hours, then I have the right to get 2 or 3 estimates. I forget if it was 2 or 3. And then I pick the middle one, and then I hire them, and then I deduct that final amount from the lease, my rent due at the end of each month. Boy, let me tell you, he did not like that. But Paul was his name, a really nice guy. And he ended up working with me. He's like, no, I get it. And I said, look, if I have an issue and I have to cancel a shoot, I'm going to lose thousands of dollars. So let me just do this. I'm not going to gouge. I just want to make sure that my stuff is done on time so I can pay you on time, right? It's like a whole trickle down theory. That's what I would negotiate in there too. Most of the time, you won't even have to do that. They're going to act so fast because they know you can pick the most expensive plumber to come in. So it's just about making sure that you're protected so that you can make the most amount of money, so that you can pay their rent on time, and then it's a happier world. If this video helped you out a lot and you learned, I would love for you to check out this whole other playlist. All of it has to do with photo studio information that I'm sharing with you. All of it is still relevant. I'm just saying pause a moment just because of the recession, and then pounds really big. Please subscribe to this channel, give it a like. That really helps with the algorithm, and I can teach more of our community. My name is Waleed. All my socials, all my links are in the description of this video. Thank you so much. I will speak with you next time. All right, bye-bye.